Hello, welcome to Learntime Radio. Welcome to today's podcast, November 21st, 2020. Who speaks to you is JM. As I explained in the introductory video to the channel, watch it if you have not yet. Mainly, we will talk about variety of topics, about which you can tell me in the comments. As is the beginning so far, we will start with a series of podcasts that you will see how it develops over time. For this reason, what we are going to talk about next in the first podcast will be, as you have already seen in the title, economy. What is and how does it work? But, well, why to talk about this? If it's such a repetitive topic which we hear about every day, it can become boring. However, properly understanding the economy, something super influential in our day-to-day life, is fundamental to understand many of the changes we experience in today's world. Understanding different economic systems, the exchange process, the money, the meaning of the value of things, etc. If you would like to understand more simply about how money and economy can shape our society and much more, I invite you to make yourself comfortable, to entertain for a while, and to learn by listening to the podcast. So, if we look for a precise definition of what economy is, we will find that it is a social science which studies the process of managing the available resources to satisfy human needs, and also studies the behavior and actions of human beings against certain events and the effect they have on our environment. It is a social science because it studies the human activity and behavior, something highly dynamic and unpredictable. The responsibility for making decisions for such management rests, as the case may be, on individuals, organizations or enterprises and/or states. This entire field of study arises from the following situation. Since the resources we present on our planet are limited, while human needs are so great they have considered unlimited, and not all of us can preside over this in total equality, we must solve for production of what good or service use the resources, assuming with the consequence of not being able to use them for the production of a different one, being forced to administer what we have to get what we need. This is where the exchange act occurs between two or more actors, which can be people, organizations, cities, countries, etc., and consists of the exchange of resources and/or services with similar value. Applied to real world, we can imagine some possible examples. In the first, we have country A and country B. Country A has large areas rich in oil in its territory, and it's cheap to extract it, meaning that it has a resource highly desired in large quantity and also easy to obtain, which allows them to generate a lot of profit at low cost if they make good decisions. Since they have several alternatives to use oil, they can burn it to produce electrical energy, they can refine it and turn it into gasoline, convert it into materials for the petrochemical industry, etc. This will make it possible to satisfy the needs of its population without the need to charge a lot, and even generating profit within the country. But it still has another option to use the oil, to commercialize and export it. Then, country B enters the scene, which does not have much oil and extracting the little at highest cost, but it has a lot of merchandise from the agricultural sector. It could be corn or coffee. This gives them alternative as well, but they will have difficulty meeting needs dependent for oil. So country B decides to negotiate with country A. This is where the exchange begins, where the two countries must agree to exchange resources, and there are many options. If country A does not need corn or coffee, will be able to take advantage of country B by charging oil more. So country B will be in trouble, since it can accept the prices it rises or refuse and look for another countries to negotiate. But if country A does need what country B offers, they can agree on more balanced prices, which can be paid in cash or merchandise, being a beneficial and flexible situation for both. From what we see, how both countries took advantage of the resources they have to obtain what they lack. Also, many times it is a little more complicated than that, because the value of oil at that time can go up or down. Other resources can be used for the exchange. Country C or D or even C could enter the scene, and so on, many possibilities. In a second example, we are in a city where cell phones of 5 different brands are sold, meaning that consumers have options to choose from. Each of these brands offers cell phones with aspects in favor and others against. There are variations in the quality of materials, battery, design, charging time, quality of audio and video reproduction, durability, fluidity, and of course the price. All people have their opinions about brands, expressing preferences among some more than others, showing at the same time patterns of behavior in their purchase. So based on this information, brands decide to develop their products targeting specific consumers, generating more variety in opinions and less in their type of consumers, influencing their sales. Brand 1 may be raising its prices so much that for many customers, cell phones does not deserve the value they have, while Brand 3 is launching affordable and good cell phones, but not the best. Brand 5 super cheap cell phones. Brand 4 high prices, but more in keeping with the quality of the product. Brand 2 offers many alternatives, always innovating. Like everything, the economy is an environment where companies must survive, and this depends directly on what they offer and how they present it, because with these customers will decide whether to exchange their money with them or not. After all, as you have may already heard, the price of things is what people are willing to pay for it. It is companies what must adjust to customers, not customers adjust to companies. If you do not consider fair what they are charging you for a product, do not buy it. Look for alternatives. If a company continues in the global market, it's because it has enough customers to survive alongside others. Sticking to the example, if you buy a cell phone at brand 5 for $150, it's okay. If you buy it from brand 3 for $425, okay too. If you buy it from brand 2 for $100, everything is fine, as long as you can afford it. Equally, if brand 1 drops in sales tomorrow, it will have to adapt a lot, either by lowering their prices, launching better products, moving to another city, etc. You must not let yourself be manipulated by brands too custom. Those who decide the value of things are both the sellers and the buyers. In the third example, we propose that if our friend Paco has X amount of dollars, he has an initial resource, his money, which is limited to say $1,000 a month. At the same time, Paco has some needs. He needs food, water, electricity, home, etc. He must be able to meet his needs with $1,000 for the entire month, needing to be responsible and intelligent. Therefore, using the exchange, Paco in the market gives money and receives the provisions of the month. To one company, he gives money and receives the water service. To another, he gives money and receives electricity service. Then Paco gives money to the manager of the neighborhood and receives permission to live in his apartment for another month. If he has some money over, he can spend it on some of his treats, an ice cream, a movie ticket, etc. Or invest it and generate more money. On the other hand, Paco also provides a service. He provides it in his work. He fulfills a function within a company for a period of time, a day, and this is valued at, as we said before, $1,000. Paco would also go crazy and spend his money uncontrollably on parties, luxuries, or other superficial things, and he will run out of money for what is really vital and important. Or he could look for another job where his labor is better valued, thus expanding his monthly budget. So, everything is based on a simple idea. I give something and then I receive something else with the same value. But this value is something totally subjective. This is always determined between the two or more actors implicit in the exchange, and this has always been the case, but not always that simple. The economy is an implicit factor in our society since almost always, if not always, and over time it has developed. But what is the difference between before and now? Well, we could say there are three. First, the needs of humanity, which have expanded and complicated over time, since the amount of resources consumed per person and the number of people in the world are not the same as a few years ago. Now we need more water, more food, healthcare, transportation and education for more people, electricity, internet, better entertainment. We are adapted to better comforts than before. Second, the ideologies that have arisen and developed over time, whether political, economical, social, are related to the administration and distribution of the resources available to a state, so that everyone agrees decision-making becomes more difficult, but also more flexible. And third, money, which presenting multiple change over history is currently represented in various ways, functioning as a global exchange resource. It simply represents that there is something of the same value in some other part of the world, so it must have a backup to acquire a value. Before it was gold, allowing a connection between the different currencies. But after the First and Second World Wars and the Great Depression of 1929, it was necessary to set a new reference of monetary value to recover the rhythm of the world economy, thus setting the dollar as the benchmark. Finally, we see how the entire concept of economy is a social construction, that is, a system invented and accepted by all members of a society. If tomorrow all people stop giving a value to money, technically all the economy will fall. Also, it would be something very difficult, since we will still need a general access for exchange, and money give it to us with greater simplicity. It would be something that could happen, because the economy is a concept opposite to static. During the centuries, the global market has had ups and downs due to different events, presenting change for better or for worse. It will always be something in constant development. For this reason, we see how in history countries that depend on a single resource to boost their economy enter into crisis when its value falls, as happened to Venezuela, which depending on oil fell into a crisis from which it has not yet recovered, or countries that for fear of not making economic progress lower the price of their products to negotiate with other countries, as is the case of many Latin American countries with the extremely powerful and intimidating United States, or the countries that by fighting for a territory rich in resources fight in wars, like in the Middle East, they were at war for oil. For this reason, to survive in this versatile environment, we must always have projection and learn to analyze and understand the changes in the current economic world. And so ends this podcast on the economy. I hope you have entertained, learned, and liked it. And if so, please click like button and share the podcast. That way, you should support me a lot, and I will know that you like it. Remember to subscribe to this channel and active the bell to be attentive to my new content in near future. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast and see you another time. Bye!